Okay. Your lecturer now is on board, no? Good afternoon again, future abogados and abogadas, no? I'm not feeling well, but I will still proceed with my lecture. This will be my fifth lecture, no? Because I already lectured political law, international law, commercial law, remedial law. Now I'm lecturing legal ethics. Legal ethics is only 5% in the bar examination. Unlike in remedial law, 20%. So, this is the latest decision of the Supreme Court. Is the integrated bar of the Philippines have jurisdiction over government lawyers who are charged with administrative offenses involving their official functions? In this case, 5 lawyers from the Civil Service Commission were administratively charged, no, in the performance of their functions. Is the integrated bar of the Philippines, the IBP, has jurisdiction over government lawyers? If they are not, if the IBP have no jurisdiction, what agency have jurisdiction over government lawyers? That is the latest decision of the Supreme Court. Another one is a government lawyer can practice his profession. Meaning to say that if you are a government lawyer, can you practice your profession? So, if yes, where you will get your authority to practice? So, another one, are government lawyers allowed to practice? And where you will get the written authority to practice? That is the latest decision of the Supreme Court. Another one, if a lawyer was commissioned as a notary public, then he notarized a document without the appearance of the parties. Question in the bar: are lawyers, notary public, allowed to affix his signature and affix the notarial seal even without the presence of the parties? Then, if not, what will be the penalty? That is also a favorite question in the bar examination. Another one is amicus curiae allowed in courts, no? Are amicus curiae, amici curiae are allowed, no? That is also favorite questions in the bar. Another one, what is practice of law? So, what do you mean by practice of law? Is practice of law a business? Is practice of law a privilege? Is the practice of law is a matter of right? And what is the ultimate purpose in the practice of law? According to the Supreme Court, practice of law is not a business. Money is not the primary consideration, but public service. I will discuss it extensively. Next, another latest decision of the Supreme Court. A lawyer was suspended by the Supreme Court for 6 months. Because he was suspended, the Human Rights Commission promoted him as a regional director. Can the Human Rights Commission promoted a lawyer suspended by the Supreme Court? So this is another case, no, wherein a lawyer was promoted in order that he will not be suspended. And the Supreme Court ruled, no, he should be suspended. Another one is the negligence of the lawyer binds the client. So another questions in the bar, are negligence of the lawyers binds the clients? We will discuss it, no, extensively. Negligence of the lawyers, whether negligence of a lawyer binds the client. A lawyer appearing in court without the permission of the parties, are he allowed? And what will be the penalty to be imposed? No, there is no really hard and fast rule on what penalty the Supreme Court will impose. No, meaning to say that the Supreme Court will impose 3 months suspension, 6 months suspension, 5 months suspension, 1 year. there is no really hard and fast rule on this. So we'll now proceed. Is the Integrated Bar of the Philippines has jurisdiction over government lawyers or charged with administrative offenses involving their official duties. This is the case of Eduardo Alicias versus Attorney Makatangay, Attorney Serna, Attorney Ronquillo, and Attorney Villapor. AC number, administrative case number 7478. So in this case, the four lawyers of the Civil Service Commission were charged administratively in the performance of the functions as lawyers of the Civil Service Commission. Is the IBP have jurisdiction? The answer is no. The Integrated Bar of the Philippines have no jurisdiction over government lawyers or charged with administrative offenses involving their official function. In this case, the Supreme Court ruled IBP has no jurisdiction over government lawyers or charged with administrative offenses involving their official duties. In this case, they were charged by Mr. Alicia. So, who will be the one who have jurisdiction over government lawyers in the performance of their duties? Because it is not the IBP. So, what office? The Supreme Court ruled it is the office of the Ombudsman. So, the office of the Ombudsman have the jurisdiction over government lawyers charged with administrative offenses involving their official functions, not the Integrated Bar of the Philippines, but with the office of the Ombudsman. Remember this, it might come out in the bar examination that the IBP have no jurisdiction over cases of government lawyers or charged administratively involving their official duties, but it is the office of the Ombudsman. That is the case of Eduardo Alicias versus Attorney Makatangay, Attorney Serna, Attorney Ronquillo, and Attorney Villapor. Next, a lawyer commissioned as a notary public. Is the lawyer allowed to affix his signature and affix the notarial seal without the presence of the parties? So in this case, the lawyer was charged administratively by Ms. Susan Pintal, EC number 11545. The Supreme Court ruled a lawyer commissioned as a notary public is mandated to discharge with fidelity the secret duties appertaining to his office, such duties being dictated by public policy and impressed with public interest. In notarizing a document in the absence of a party, Attorney Bailuses violated not only the rule on notarial practice, but also the Code of Professional Responsibility, which prescribes a lawyer from engaging in any unlawful, dishonest, immoral, deceitful conduct. By affixing his signature and the notarial seal on the document, he attested that Roldan personally appeared before him on the date was notarized and verified the contents thereof. His conduct is fraught with dangerous possibilities considering the conclusiveness of the due execution of the documents by our court. So, in this case, the lawyer was suspended by the Supreme Court for 6 months. Not only that, he is barred forever to become a notary public. So, if you become a lawyer, you want to become a notary public, don't sign a document and affix the notarial seal without the presence of the parties, especially if it is a contract, It is a contract, but affidavit, probably you can, Like me, when I was a new lawyer, I allowed somebody to sign it on affidavit, affidavit of loss, because I was a notary public at UE College of Law, that was my so if you become a lawyer, then you applied as a notary public, do not sign the document and affix the notarial seal without the presence of the parties, because you will be suspended by the Supreme Court. Another case, are government lawyers authorized to practice their profession? So, like me, I'm a judge. Can I practice my profession? Before I was also a lawyer of the DOJ and the labor. Can I practice my profession? This is the case of Arthur Munares versus Attorney Levy Munoz, issue number 5882. The Supreme Court ruled failure to secure proper authority to engage in the practice of profession from the head of department by a lawyer who is a public officer or employee constitute an authorized practice of law. So, if you are a government lawyer, you must first secure a written authority from the head office in order that you will be allowed to practice your profession. Because as a general rule, you are not allowed to practice your profession as a lawyer because you are a government employee or you are a public official. In this case, according to the Supreme Court, Attorney Munoz was a provincial attorney. So, Attorney Munoz should secure a written authority to practice law before the office of the Secretary of the ILG. So, it should be Department of Interior and Local Government. Because he failed to secure the written authority from the Secretary of the ILG, the lawyer was suspended for 6 months. Actually, there is no hard and fast rule. The months, years, the Supreme Court suspended the lawyer. Sometimes it is 3 months, sometimes 5 months, sometimes 1 year. In this case, the lawyer was suspended by the Supreme Court for 6 months because he practiced his profession as a lawyer without securing first a written authority from the head office. He is a provincial attorney. So if you are a provincial attorney, you must secure your authority to practice law before the Secretary of the ILG. So in this case, if you are a provincial attorney, you must secure your authority to practice before the office of the Secretary of the ILG. You know, I have so many friends who are legal officer of the City of Manila. They are appearing on my sala. And I ask them, Panyero, do you have authority to practice law? Because if you have no authority to practice law, then you will be suspended by the Supreme Court. And that show me first the authority that you are allowed to practice your profession as a lawyer, because I lectured legal ethics wherein lawyers, if they are government lawyers, they are not allowed to practice law. The Supreme Court ruled it is moonlighting. So you must first secure a written authority, not verbal, before the head office. So if you are a legal officer of the City of Manila, you must get first a written authority from the office of the mayor. So you go to the office of the mayor to secure an authority to practice. I have some Patellar brothers who are lawyers of Bureau of Customs, who are lawyers of Bureau of Post. They appeared in my sala. I asked them, Panyero, do you have authority to practice? They said, yes, you are authorized to practice. So you better secure first an authority to practice law, because if you have no authority to practice, then you can be suspended by the Supreme Court. It is an unauthorized practice of law. That is the case of Arthur Munares versus Attorney Levy Munoz. Administrative case number 5582. This is the latest decision of the Supreme Court. So, future compañeros, compañeras, although there are judges, prosecutors, and lawyers. Good afternoon, Judge Olivete. I saw you in the... so there are... You secure first an authority to practice, because if not, you will be suspended by the Supreme Court. Okay, we proceed with attorneys. Okay, attorneys-clients relationship. In the case of Baines, AC number 10378, a lawyer disregard his duty to serve his client with utmost competence and diligence by failure to afford his client every remedy and defenses that is authorized by law. So, if you are a lawyer, you disregard your duty to serve your client with utmost diligence and competence if you fail to avail of every remedy and defenses that is authorized by law. For instance, you lost your case in MTC, then you can appeal it to RTC through Rule 40. If you lost your case before an RTC, you can appeal it to the Court of Appeals through Rule 41, Rule 42, Rule 65, and Rule 45. If you lost your case before the Court of Appeals, then you can avail of Rule 65 and Rule 45. And that before you can go to the Court of Appeals, you must avail first to the RTC, because there is a doctrine of hierarchy of the courts. You cannot appeal it directly to the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeals. But in one case, in the case of Lumbuan versus Ronquillo, the Supreme Court acquired jurisdiction over a case from MTC directly to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled that although there is a violation on the doctrine of hierarchy of the courts, the party should appeal first to the RTC, but because of the importance of the case, the Supreme Court took cognizance of the case. In the case of Lumbuan versus Ronquillo, the Supreme Court ruled that in the interest of justice, the Supreme Court can relax the rules of court. No? So, the Supreme Court, only the Supreme Court can relax our rules of court. RTC and appellate courts, they are not allowed to relax the rules of court, only the Supreme Court. So, remember, no? Rule 40, Rule 41, Rule 42, Rule 45, and Rule 65. Then, our acts of the lawyer binds the client that he represents. In the case of Attorney Agustin versus Cruz Herrera, GR number 174564, the Supreme Court ruled the acts of a lawyer are deemed acts of the parties represented only if the acts within the scope of his authority. So as a general rule, the acts of the lawyer are also acts of the parties, because there is a presumption that they have represented the parties within the scope of his authority. In this case, the lawyer was suspended because the lawyer was the one who signed the certificate of forum shopping. If you become a lawyer, do not allow to sign the certificate of non-forum shopping. It should be the parties. So, in this case, the Attorney Agustin was suspended by the Supreme Court because he signed the certificate of non-forum shopping. In non-forum shopping, you must let your client or the party sign the certificate of non-forum shopping. Then, In the case of Navarro versus Attorney Solidum, the fiduciary nature of relationship imposes upon the lawyer the duty to account for money, property collected or received for on behalf of his client. So, if you become a lawyer, your client entrusted money and property, then you have a fiduciary relationship with your client. If your client asks if the client asks that you render an accounting of the money and property, you must render an accounting. Because, I always lectured MCLE of legal ethics. Number one, suspension of lawyers are the fail to return the money and property received by the lawyers for and in behalf of the client. So, in that case, you must always render an accounting in order that you will not be suspended. In this case, the lawyer was suspended for 6 months for failure to render an accounting on the property and money received for and in behalf of the client. Another one, favorite question on the bar. How about negligence of counsel? If the counsel is negligent, will bind the parties. Mean to say that if the lawyer committed if the lawyer committed negligence, our clients binds, no? This is the case of People versus Espinosa. The Supreme GR number 199070. The Supreme Court ruled the negligence of counsel binds the client except in cases where reckless or gross negligence of counsel deprive the client of the process of law, or when the application will result in outright deprivation of a client's liberty or property, or where the interest of justice so requires, relief is accorded to the client who suffered by reason of lawyer's gross and palpable mistake or negligence. As a general rule, according to the Supreme Court, negligence of the lawyer binds the client, except if it is palpable or gross neglect. Like in the case of People versus Espinosa, when the prosecution presented witnesses, cross-examination, no cross, Your Honor. Next, formal offer of exhibits, comment, objection, no objection, Your Honor. Then presentation of evidence. The lawyer said, waive, Your Honor, I will waive to present evidence. Is the lawyer liable for that negligence? Yes, that is gross or palpable negligence. Lawyers are allowed to waive the presentation of evidence. Lawyers are allowed to waive cross-examination. Can you imagine that? When the prosecution presented evidence, he waived all cross-examination. When the evidence formally offered, waived. When it is the turn of the lawyer of the accused to present his evidence, he said, waive, Your Honor. I move that the case be deemed submitted for decision. So, in this case, the lawyer was suspended by the Supreme Court on the ground that, as a general rule, negligence of the lawyer will not subject him to disciplinary action except if there is a gross or palpable negligence. Can you imagine that? The lawyer does not want to present evidence. The lawyer does not want to comment on the formal offer, and that he wants that the case be submitted for decision. So, talo agad yung kaso because, as a lawyer, you must exert efforts in presenting the evidence. So, remember the case of People versus Espinosa, that as a general rule, negligence of the lawyer binds the client except if it is reckless, gross, or palpable negligence, then the lawyer can be suspended by the Supreme Court. Then in the case of Baines versus Attorney Simpio, the Supreme Court ruled, whenever lawyers take on their clients' cause or causes the covenant that they will exercise due diligence in protecting the client's right, their failure to exercise the degree of vigilance and attention expected of a good father of a family makes the lawyer unworthy of the trust reposed in them by their clients, no? And make them answerable to the clients, the courts, and the society. So, if lawyers will take the case of their client, then there is a covenant that they will exercise due diligence. What is that due diligence? The due diligence is the diligence of a good father of the family. In case the lawyer failed to exercise due diligence in protecting the client's right and failed to exercise the degree of vigilance expected of the good father family, then the lawyer can be suspended. I always lectured MCLE legal ethics. Lawyers, prosecutors always ask me, what will be the penalty the Supreme Court impose on suspension of lawyers? No? There is no hard and fast rule. Sometimes 1 month, sometimes 2 months, sometimes 3 months, sometimes 5 months, sometimes 6 months, sometimes 1 year. So, it depends upon what will be the penalty imposed by the Supreme Court. So remember that you must exercise due diligence in the performance of your duty to your client. Then in the case of Heck versus City Prosecutor Gamutin, AC number 5329. In this case, the prosecutor was challenged by the lawyer in a peace fight. Then the prosecutor accepted the challenge. Is the prosecutor liable? The answer is yes. In this case, the Supreme Court ruled, lawyers may be expected to maintain their composure and decorum, but they are still human beings, and their emotions are like those of other normal people, placed in an unexpected situation that can crack their veneer or self-control. So in this case, the prosecutor accepted the challenge of a lawyer to a peace fight. Now, the Supreme Court ruled that lawyers may be expected to maintain composure, although we are all human beings and we have emotions, and that unexpected situation can crack our veneer or self-control. So, if you become a lawyer, you must control yourself, no? You know, when I hear cases, there are so many lawyers who said, Judge Pampilo, your decision is wrong, no? I have to control my myself, no? Because I do not want that the Supreme Court will discipline me for for accepting a challenge by the lawyers. I'm sorry, I'm not feeling well, no? Kagabi pa, no? But I wanted to finish my lecture so that I can rest tomorrow. Next, it might ask in the bar examination, is contingent fee arrangement valid or allowed? So it will be asked in the bar examination, what will be your answer? Are contingent fees arrangement allowed? In the case of Attorney Agustin, GR number 174564, the Supreme Court ruled contingent fee arrangement are permitted because they rebound to the benefit of the poor client and the lawyer, especially in cases where the client has a meritorious cause of action, but no means with which to pay the lawyer for legal services, unless he can, with the sanction of law, make a contract for contingent fee to be paid out of the proceeds of the litigation. So, in this case, the Supreme Court ruled that contingent fee arrangement between lawyers and clients are allowed by law. Because according to the Supreme Court, it rebound to the benefit of the poor client, especially on meritorious cases where the client have no means to pay the lawyer for his or her legal services. So, remember, no, it will be asked in the bar examination that contingent fee arrangement, according to the Supreme Court, are allowed, no? Because it will redound to the benefits of the client, especially if the client have a good cause of action and that the client have no money to pay for the legal services. So, where you will get the contingent fee, you will get it from the proceeds of the litigation, because in litigation, in our dispositive portion, we will say dispositive portion, no? Moral damages 50,000, exemplary damages 100,000, litigation expenses, because we also award litigation expenses and cost of the suit, no? Litigation expenses. So, if there is litigation expenses, then the lawyer is allowed to get that litigation expenses. For instance, 100,000. No? So, remember, no, that contingent fee are allowed by the Supreme Court. Okay. How about a disbarment case filed against a lawyer? Then the complainant withdraw his or her case for disbarment against the lawyer. What will happen? So in this case, in the case of Bunagan Bansig, the Supreme Court ruled an administrative proceedings for disbarment, despite the desistance of the complainant or failure of the complainant to prosecute the same, or failure of the lawyer to answer charges against him, despite numerous notices, it will continue. So, the Supreme Court ruled that if there is a disbarment case against a lawyer, then the complainant withdraw his or her complaint, then the Supreme Court ruled that the disbarment proceedings or the disciplinary proceedings against lawyers will continue, despite that the complainant withdraw, despite that the lawyer failed to, despite that the complainant failed to prosecute the case, despite that the lawyer failed to answer the charges. So remember, no, if there is a disciplinary action against lawyer or disbarment case, even the complainant withdraw the case, then the case will continue. Because why? What is the reason? Because according to the Supreme Court, in disbarment cases or in cases of disciplinary action against lawyers, it is issue generis. It is neither civil case nor criminal case, but an investigation whether or not the lawyer is fit to become an officer of the court. So, according to the Supreme Court, in disciplinary proceedings against lawyers for suspension or disbarment, it is issue generis. It is not a criminal case, it is not a civil case, but an investigation by the Supreme Court whether or not the lawyer is fit to continue as an officer of the court. Remember that. It might be asked in the bar examination. Okay, how about if the lawyer conducted a second marriage? Is the lawyer liable? The answer is yes. No. In this case, the lawyers conducted a second marriage while the first marriage is still subsisting. The Supreme Court ruled it is a gross immoral conduct and a ground for disbarment under Section 27, Rule 137 of the Revised Rules of Court. So, in this case, the lawyer said that if there is a pending case for annulment of marriage of his first wife, no? Because he filed a case before the family court to annul the first marriage. Atat-atat na. Ang ginawa niya, pinakasalan yung kanyang girlfriend, despite the fact that the first marriage was not yet declared null and void by the family court or RTC. So, a case was filed against him. The Supreme Court disbarred him because it is a gross immoral conduct. Huwag kayong magmamadali. Kung gusto niyo pakasalan yung boyfriend niyo o girlfriend, you must wait first the ruling of the first case, annulment, no? Because according to the Supreme Court, marriage are considered valid until and unless declared by the court to be void or voidable, no? So, mag-antay kayo. Do not conduct a second marriage because that is a ground for disbarment. Gross ignorance, gross immorality. Then, always ask in the bar, in disbarment cases or in disciplinary action cases, what kind of evidence required? The Supreme Court ruled in administrative proceedings against lawyers for disbarment or for suspension of lawyers, the evidence presented must be substantial evidence. So it is substantial evidence. It is not evidence beyond reasonable doubt. Why? It is not a criminal case nor a civil case, but a investigation of the Supreme Court whether or not the lawyer is fit to become a lawyer, because a disbarment case or a disciplinary action case against lawyers, it is a sui generis. It is neither purely criminal case nor purely civil case, but an investigation of the Supreme Court whether or not the lawyer is fit to become a lawyer. Because to become a lawyer, it is not a matter of right, but it is a matter of privilege. So remember that, no? Remember that substantial evidence, no? Likewise, in another case, no? In the case of my classmate, no? The Supreme Court ruled that clear preponderance of evidence is necessary to justify imposition of administrative penalty against the lawyer. So it is another case, clear preponderance of evidence. The other case, it is substantial evidence. So dalawa sinabi ng Supreme Court, substantial evidence and preponderance of evidence. So remember that the evidence of proving is only substantial evidence or clear preponderance of evidence. Then the Supreme Court further ruled that the issue to be determined is whether the lawyer is still fit to continue to be an officer of the court in the dispensation of justice. Because all of us, I'm a judge, at the same time I'm a lawyer, we are all officers of the court. Then, only the Supreme Court can discipline us or disbar us if it is we are not fit to become an officer of the court. Then, in the case of Heck versus City Prosecutor, AC number 5329, because Heck wanted that the prosecutor Gamutin will be disbarred. And the Supreme Court did not disbar Prosecutor Gamutin. The Supreme Court ruled, in this case, the power to disbar is always exercised with great caution, only for the most imperative reasons and in cases of clear misconduct affecting the standing and moral character of the lawyer as an officer of the court and a member of the bar. So in this case, the Supreme Court ruled that the power to disbar is always exercised with great caution. Only the most imperative reasons and in cases of clear misconduct affecting the standing and moral character of the lawyer as an officer of the court and a member of the bar. So we need to say that the Supreme Court will not disbar you, because they will see to it that there will be no injustice. So in this case, the Supreme Court only suspended Prosecutor Gamutin for 1 year. He was not disbarred. Then, in the case of Quezon, withdrawal of disbarment case does not terminate jurisdiction of the Integrated Bar of the Philippines and the court to continue proceedings against a lawyer. So, withdrawal of a disbarment complaint against a lawyer, it will not terminate the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court and the Integrated Bar of the Philippines. Ganito kasi yan. It is this, the Supreme Court can motu proprio initiate disbarment cases against lawyers or initiate disciplinary action against lawyers. Motu proprio, no? There are two offices in the Supreme Court that can initiate disbarment cases. Now, the office of the bar confidant and the office of the court administrator. They are the one who can file a case against lawyers, no, for disbarment or for disciplinary action. How about IBP? So, if the case will be filed in the Integrated Bar of the Philippines, the IBP have an office of the bar confidant, bar discipline. The Integrated Bar of the Philippines, they have an office of bar discipline. There are so many commissioners there. They are the one who will hear the case whether or not he will be suspended or he will be disbarred. So, if the commissioner of the bar discipline will decide, then it will be appealed and reviewed by the Board of Governors of the Integrated Bar of the Philippines. Now, meaning to say that the decision of the commissioners of the bar discipline are subject to review to the office of the Board of Governors of the Integrated Bar of the Philippines. Then, if the Integrated Bar of the Philippines decided that you will be disbarred or you will be suspended, where is it already finished? The answer is no. Whatever the decision of the IBP is subject to appeal and review of the Supreme Court. In disbarment cases, in cases for disciplinary action against lawyers, it is still the Supreme Court who has the final say, not the Integrated Bar of the Philippines. For instance, the Bar Confidant Office of the Supreme Court decided that you will be disbarred or you will be suspended, or the Office of the Court Administrator. It is finished? No. The Supreme Court will decide it, no, whether or not you will be disbarred or you will be disciplined. If it is disbarment, if it is disbarment, ang decision ng Supreme Court nakalagay per coriam. You do not know who of the justices pen the decision. Nakalagay per coriam. No? Per coriam. Then, in the case of Dizon versus Attorney Ditasa, AC number 7676, the Supreme Court enumerated grounds for suspension or disbarment. In this case, in the case of Dizon, the Supreme Court enumerated at least eight grounds for suspension or for disbarment of a lawyer. The Supreme Court ruled, Section 27, Rule 138 of the Rules of Court provides for the disbarment or suspension of a lawyer of any of the following. Number 1, deceit. So number 1, nanloko ka, deceit. Malpractice, gross misconduct in office, gross immoral conduct, conviction of a crime involving moral turpitude, violation of lawyer's oath, willful disobedience of any lawful order of the Supreme Court, and the last one is willful appearing as a lawyer for a party without authority to do so. So remember, if it will be asked in the bar, there are 8 grounds that a lawyer can be suspended or disbarred. Section 27, Rule 138 of the Rules of Court. Number 1, deceit, nanloko ka. Second, malpractice. Number 3, gross misconduct in office. Second, gross immorality. Then the fifth is conviction of a crime involving moral turpitude. I will discuss the case of a lawyer who was charged of murder, but he was convicted of homicide by the court. He appealed it to the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court affirmed the decision. Then the President of the Republic of the Philippines pardoned him. So the lawyer was pardoned, and that he asked the Supreme Court that he will be reinstated as a lawyer because he was disbarred. If you convicted of a crime involving moral turpitude like rape, abduction, seduction, acts of lasciviousness, even BPT dito, no, you can be disbarred or suspended. Homicide, parricide. In this case, he was convicted, but the president, pardoned him. So, what will be your answer? The answer is, you qualify, no? It will be asked in the bar examination, you qualify. It depends what kind of pardon. If the pardon is absolute and plenary, then he can be reinstated. If it is conditional or partial pardon, he cannot be reinstated as a lawyer. So remember, the pardon must be absolute and plenary. Absolute and plenary. If it is partial or conditional pardon, he cannot be reinstated. I will discuss later on what are the grounds in order that you can be reinstated as a lawyer. For instance, I have a friend. He was disbarred by the Supreme Court. After 10 years, he filed an application before the Supreme Court for reinstatement as a lawyer. So, he asked me, because I was a judge in Taguig, he asked me to give a favorable recommendation. Binigyan ko ng favorable recommendation. Also, recommendation coming from the parish priest, no, na siya ay sakristan, no. Nag-issue din si mayor. na siya ay tumutulong sa paglilinis sa mga CR sa munisipyo. Then IBP. Then IBP recommendation. Then he filed it. I told him, Panyero, you better whisper an active justice of the Supreme Court to whisper the justices. So, because of the whispering hope, he was reinstated as a lawyer. I will discuss it later on. What are the grounds in order that you will be reinstated as a member of the bar? You must prove to the Supreme Court that you are already a reformed lawyer and that you are a productive lawyer in order that you can be reinstated as a member of the Philippine Bar. There is a question, is attempted suicide a ground for suspension from the practice of law? So, what is suicide? You mean to say that he is the one who initiated, who helped, aided the suicide? Then the person died? Yes, you can be suspended if you aided the person to commit suicide, no? Ikaw yung nagpainom sa ikaw yung bumitay sa kanya, ikaw yung bumaril sa kanya, ikaw yung pumalo sa ulo niya. Yes, you can be disbarred or suspended from the practice of law. Then another one. Duties of a lawyer. A lawyer has the duty to handle any legal matter with adequate preparation. So, if you handle the cause of your client, you must prepare the case with adequate preparation. There are so many lawyers who appearing in my sala, and even prosecutors and power lawyers who are not prepared when presented their evidence, no? So, when I was a new judge, I always castigate lawyers for appearing in my sala with not adequate preparation. So, you must prepare your case. You must have an adequate preparation to your case. In the case of Ong versus Attorney De Los Santos, this is the case. I know this lawyer, no? He was convicted of a crime for the issuance of a bouncing check without a funds, no? Can he be suspended? The answer is yes, no? So in this case, the Supreme Court ruled that a lawyer who issued a check without funds, then he can be suspended or disciplined by the Supreme Court. So, lawyers do not issue a check. That is why I always ask my wife to issue a check, no? Because if a case if the case will be filed against her, my wife, then I'll be his lawyer, no? So that is the case, no? If the lawyer issued a check without funds, then convicted, BP bilang 22, then he can be suspended or disbarred. In this case, the lawyer appeared in my sala. Then the opposing counsel informed the court that the lawyer was suspended by the Supreme Court, and that the opposing lawyer, wrote the Supreme Court that Judge Pampilo allowed Attorney Bong to appear in sala Despite that, Attorney Bong was suspended for 6 months by the Supreme Court because he was convicted of issuing a check without a funds. No? So, I was given by the Supreme Court to comment within 10 days. So within 5 days, I comment. I said that when Attorney Bong appeared in my sala, I do not know that he was already suspended by the Supreme Court, and that I have no copy of the decision by the Supreme Court suspending Attorney Bong, and that I attached, and that when I knew that Attorney Bong was suspended by the Supreme Court, I disallowed him to appear in court. Because if you are suspended, you are not allowed to appear in court. So, I wrote the Supreme Court and attached that the decision, because all judges are punished by the Supreme Court of all disciplinary action against lawyers. That if there is a suspension or disbarment, they give us they give us a copy. Why? Because we are not allowed to that suspended lawyers or disbarred lawyers appeared in our sala. I have a friend who was suspended by the Supreme Court to practice law for 6 months. So because he was suspended, he teach. Then his enemy saw him that he was teaching at PUP, because he was my co-professor at PUP and at UE College of Law. Then his enemy wrote the Supreme Court that the lawyer suspended was teaching law. So if that lawyer suspended by the Supreme Court, then he teach law, can he be suspended? The answer is yes. The Supreme Court ruled that practice of law is very, very broad. Teaching law subjects, even business law subjects, that is considered as practice of law. So, that lawyer was again suspended by the Supreme Court because he teach law subjects in law school. So, if you are suspended, you are not allowed to teach in the College of Law, because teaching is also a practice of law. The Supreme Court ruled that practice of law is very, very broad. So, that is why every time lawyers appeared in my sala, I always check whether or not that lawyer was suspended by the Supreme Court. Because if he was suspended by the Supreme Court, then we are not allowed the lawyer to appear in court. In the case of Sanchez vs. Attorney Torres, disciplinary proceedings against lawyers, penalty of suspension to a lawyer disbarred imposed recording purposes by the Bar Confidant Office. So in this case, Attorney Torres was already disbarred by the Supreme Court. Despite the fact that the lawyer was already disbarred, he practiced his profession. Then, can the Supreme Court disbarred again, imposes a second disbarment against the lawyer, the answer is that the penalty of suspension to a lawyer already disbarred imposed for recording purposes in the office of the bar company. Supreme Court ruled, no. If you are already disbarred, if the lawyer is already disbarred, then he cannot be disbarred twice. But he can be suspended. And that the suspension must be recorded in the office of the bar, competent office of the Supreme Court. So that is why we have wherein you cannot be disbarred twice, but for record purposes in the office of the bar competent, because there are two offices in the Supreme Court that initiated disbarment or suspension proceedings: the office of the bar competent and the office of the court administrator. They are the one, aside from the integrated bar of the Philippines. But all decisions of the IBP must be subject to final review of the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court have the final say whether or not you are allowed, no? So remember those cases. In the case of C.F. Sharp's Management Incorporated versus Torres, the lawyer was suspended by the Supreme Court. According to the Supreme Court, the duty of the lawyer not to engage in any unlawful, dishonest, immoral, or deceitful conduct violated by acts of misappropriation. Because in this case, the lawyer misappropriated the money entrusted by C.F. Sharp Crew Management Incorporated. So therefore, if the lawyer misappropriated, then he can be suspended. The lawyer was suspended for 1 year. No? As I've said, there is no fast and hard rule what will be the penalty imposed by the Supreme Court in suspending a lawyer. No? It might be 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, 1 year. No? It depends upon by the Supreme Court, because each and every justice of Supreme Court, they have only one vote. You know, namalat ako dahil may sakit ako kagabi. But despite that, I still continue my lecture, no? Because so many barristers and students wanted to watch and listen my lecture on legal ethics. So remember those cases that if the lawyer misappropriated money and property, then he can be suspended. Then in the case of Philippine Association of Court Employees against Attorney Diaz, because in this case, Attorney Diaz was a clerk of court, but he practiced his law profession. He appeared in court. No? So, the Supreme Court suspended the lawyer for appearing in court, despite the fact that the lawyer was a branch clerk of court. The Supreme Court ruled, engaging in an unlawful, dishonest, or deceitful conduct warrants 3 months suspension from the practice of law. So, as I've said, there is no hard and fast rule. In this case, only 3 months suspension. Then, can a lawyer be disciplined by the Supreme Court if the lawyer failed to pay his debt. Nangutang ang abogado. Then the client asked him to pay. Ayaw niyang bayaran. The answer is yes. In this case, Attorney Agtang Poster filed a case against his lawyer because his lawyer borrowed money from him. Nangutang yung abogado sa client. When Agtang asked that the lawyer, Poster asked the lawyer to pay the money that he borrowed, the lawyer did not pay. The Supreme Court ruled it is a gross misconduct. In this case, the lawyer was suspended by the Supreme Court for 6 months. So, if you become a lawyer, if you do not want to be suspended or disciplined by the Supreme Court, pag nangutang ka, you must pay your debts or the money that you borrowed. Nahirapan ako eh. Okay, another one. Another case, no? The lawyer told his client that he asked money to bribe the judge. So, the client filed a case against the lawyer for bribing the judge. The lawyer can be disciplined by the Supreme Court. So, in this case, the lawyer Poster, asked money from Poster because he will use the money to bribe the judge. Can the lawyer be suspended? The answer is yes. In the case of Poster versus the Attorney Agtang, AC number 10579, committed when a lawyer demands sum of money from his client to use as a bribe to ensure a favorable decision. So, in this case, the lawyer was suspended for 1 year because he asked money from his client in order to bribe the lawyer. So, do not do that, no? Another case, no? Wherein the lawyer, the opposing party saw the lawyer was inside the chamber of the judge. Can the lawyer be suspended by the Supreme Court on the ground that the judge tried to influence the judge? The answer is yes. No? I will discuss later on that a lawyer, other parties saw the lawyer was inside the chamber of a judge and the lawyer was suspended. Also, the judge was disciplined by the Supreme Court for allowing a lawyer entered inside his chamber. But their defense is that there was a party, that there was a birthday party of one of the staff of the judge, that because the lawyer passed by, they invited the lawyer to eat, and that the judge allowed him to eat inside the chamber of the judge. The Supreme Court ruled that the judge and the lawyer are subject to disciplinary action because the lawyer tried to influence the judge. That the judge also suspended by the Supreme Court because he allowed a lawyer who have a case in the sala to practice to eat there, no? So if you try to influence the judge or you want to bribe the judge, you ask for money to bribe the judge, then you can be suspended or disbarred. But in this case, they were not disbarred but only suspended for 1 year. The judge was suspended only for 4 months. So remember, do not try to influence the judge. Do not ask money to your client to bribe the judge in order to get a favorable decision, because that is not allowed under legal ethics. No? Do not ask your client to give money to bribe the judge, or do not go to the judge in his chamber and try to influence the judge in order that the judge will decide your case in your favor. Oh, another case, in the case of Agot, AC number 8000. The lawyer was suspended by the Supreme Court. Imposed for the lawyer act of neglecting client's affair, failing to return money, and committing a deceitful act in misrepresenting him as an immigration lawyer. In this case, the lawyer said that he is an expert in immigration, but the truth is not. So, Agot filed the case against the lawyer, and the Supreme Court ruled that the lawyer is committed a deceitful act, misrepresenting himself as an immigration lawyer. So, the lawyer was suspended by the Supreme Court for 6 months. Another case, in the case of Sanchez, AC number 102. Pag sinabi kong AC, administrative case yan, number 10240. Penalty cannot include an order to pay the debt. No? So, to pay the debt. Then in the case of Biray versus Attorney Sanicas, the penalty of suspension from the practice of law for 2 years shall be imposed for gross misconduct consisting in the failure or refusal, despite demand of a lawyer, to account for and to return the money or property belonging to the client. So in the case of Biray, Biray asked the lawyer to conduct an accounting and to return the money and property to him, but the lawyer did not. The Supreme Court suspended the lawyer for 2 years. That's why I always told you, future abogadas and abogados, that in suspending a lawyer, there is no fast and hard rule. Can you imagine that in this case, he was suspended for 2 years. Karamihan dyan, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, 1 year. In this case, he was suspended for 2 years. So remember, how about gross negligence? If the lawyer committed gross negligence, is the lawyer liable? The answer is yes. This is the case of People versus Resurrection, GR number 1992666. For a claim of counsel, gross negligence to prosper, the same should not be accompanied by client's own negligence or malice. So, in this case, the negligence must be gross, the negligence must be palpable, in order that the lawyer must be suspended by the Supreme Court. How about malpractice? What will be? Neri filed a case against the lawyer because the lawyer committed malpractice. The lawyer did not pay the docket fee, the filing fee. Binulsa ng abogado ang pera. So, Is the lawyer liable? Yes. Failing to file a petition despite acceptance of legal fees and making client believe that the petition was already filed constitute malpractice. So in this case, the lawyer was suspended for 6 months because he get money from the client. He said that they already filed a case, but the truth, he did not file it in court. Binulsa niya pera, so he was suspended by the Supreme Court. Then in the case of resurrection of people, GR number 192866, July 9, 2014, the Supreme Court ruled, because in this case, the lawyer failed to communicate his client for almost 3 years. Hindi napakita ang lawyer. Can the lawyer be suspended? The answer is yes. So in the case of resurrection of people, the Supreme Court ruled failure of the counsel to communicate with his clients for nearly 3 years and to inform them about the status of their case does not amount to abandonment that qualifies a gross neglect, but an omission is considered only as an act of simple negligence. So this is only a simple negligence, but it was suspended by the Supreme Court for 5 months. No? This is not a gross negligence, but only simple negligence. No? Then, membership in the bar. Okay, versus Attorney Revilla. If you are a member of the bar, is this a privilege or a matter of right? The answer is the practice of law is a privilege. The practice of law is not a business. The practice of law is not a matter of right, but it is a matter of privilege. That the practice of law, money is not the ultimate consideration. That the practice of law, the ultimate consideration is public service. Remember, always ask in the bar, what do you mean by practice of law? Then, the best answer is that the practice of law is not a business. That the practice of law is not, money is not the ultimate consideration, but public service. That the practice of law is a mere privilege. That the practice of law is not a right. That the practice of law is not a business. That money is not a ultimate consideration, but public service. Remember those decisions of the Supreme Court. Okay. How about the lawyer mortgaged the property of his client? Is the lawyer liable? You mortgage the property of your client without the consent and knowledge of the client? The answer is yes. In the case of Yupanco Nakpil versus Attorney Oy, EC number 9115, September 17, 2014, the act of mortgaging a property notwithstanding the apparent dispute over the same constitute misconduct. So this property is still subject to litigation, but the lawyer mortgaged it. So what was the ruling of the Supreme Court? The Supreme Court ruled that the act of mortgaging a property notwithstanding the apparent dispute over the same constitute misconduct. Remember the case of Yupanco Napkil, AC number 10579. Alam niyo, nahirapan ako. Then, furthermore, nahirapan ako kasi may sakit ako kagabi. I could not discuss extensively. Furthermore, the Supreme Court ruled, what do you mean by misconduct? In the case of Foster, the Supreme Court ruled misconduct, the reference is not confined to one's behavior exhibited in connection with the performance of the lawyer's professional duties, but also covers any misconduct which, albeit unrelated to the actual practice of profession, would show him to be unfit for the office and unworthy of the privilege which is licensed and the law vests with him. So, the Supreme Court defines the meaning of misconduct. Misconduct, the reference is not confined to one's behavior, no? Exhibited in connection with the performance of the lawyer's professional duties, but also covers any misconduct which, albeit unrelated to the actual practice of his profession, which should show him to be unfit for the office and unworthy of the privilege which is licensed and the law vests with him. So remember that. How about excusable negligence? Is the lawyer liable? In the case of Tan vs. Diamante, AC number 7766, the Supreme Court ruled, lawyer's inexcusable neglect to serve his client interests with utmost diligence and competence, as well as in engaging in a loophole, dishonest, and deceitful conduct in order to conceal such neglect should never be countenanced. And this, thus, he is administratively liable. So, inexcusable neglect to serve your clients with utmost diligence and competence, then you can be subject to disciplinary action by the Supreme Court, where you will file. The client can file a case to the Integrated Bar of the Philippines. There is an office of the Bar Discipline of the IBP. Then there are commissioners of Bar Discipline. Then after the commissioner decide it, it will be reviewed by the Board of Governors of the IBP. Then after that, it will be forwarded to the Supreme Court for the review, because it is the Supreme Court who have the final say whether or not the lawyer will be suspended or disbarred. Or the Supreme Court can motu proprio initiate a disbarment proceedings against lawyers or against prosecutors. No? What offices in the Supreme Court who can initiate disbarment cases and disciplinary action? It is the office of the bar confidant. Once you pass the bar, you will sign the rule of attorneys in the office of the bar confidant. Doon ka pipirma. That is why they are the one who will initiate disbarment proceedings against lawyers or the office of the court. Mami? Ne, lagay mo nga ito ng ano, ne, mainit na tubig, ne. Ne.
Yung hindi.
Oo. Saka mainit, eh. Mainit. Okay. So, I will now discuss the case of Ke versus Attorney Revilla. Petition for reinstatement. So, because in this case, Attorney Revilla was disbarred by the Supreme Court. AC number 7056. Pag sinabi kong 54, pag sinabi kong AC number, administrative case number 7054. The Supreme Court ruled that in petition for reinstatement, because you will file the petition for reinstatement before the Supreme Court in bank. No? It is the Supreme Court in bank will be the one to decide. The Supreme Court ruled the basic inquiry in a petition for reinstatement is that of the practice of law, whether the lawyer has sufficiently rehabilitated himself or herself in the conduct and character. So in the case of K versus Atty. Revilla, the Supreme Court ruled the basic inquiry in a petition for reinstatement in the practice of law is whether or not the lawyer sufficiently rehabilitated himself or herself in the conduct and character. Furthermore, the Supreme Court ruled the court will take into consideration his or her character. So, the court will take into consideration the character of the lawyer prior to the disbarment. So, character of the lawyer prior to the disbarment. The nature and character of the charges. So, what is the nature and character of the charges for which he or she was disbarred? Or his conduct subsequent to the disbarment and the time that has elapsed between disbarment and the application for reinstatement. Whether the applicant shall be reinstated in the rule of attorneys resent the great extent of the sound discretion of the court. So, according to the Supreme Court, it is their sound discretion whether or not to reinstate a lawyer disbarred from the practice of law. So, the Supreme Court ruled that it will take into consideration the character of the lawyer and standing prior to the disbarment, the nature and character of the charges which he or she was disbarred, and that time has elapsed. Majority, 10 years is the best. I have so many friends who was reinstated by the Supreme Court after 10 years. So the best is 10 years. You must first get a favorable recommendation from the local courts, favorable recommendation from the municipal or city mayor, favorable recommendation from the parish priest, favorable recommendation from the city council or municipal council, and that favorable recommendation coming from different IBP chapter, because they will, through that recommendation, it will boost the character of the lawyer, that the lawyer was already reformed, so that the Supreme Court can reinstate the lawyer in order that the lawyer can practice his profession. So, 10 years or more is the best, time. Because time will mellow down the lawyer. And that the Supreme Court ruled that it is the sound discretion of the Supreme Court in bank. It is the Supreme Court in bank who will decide. It is the sound discretion of the Supreme Court in bank whether the lawyer is barred will be reinstated and allowed to practice his or her profession as a lawyer. So remember the case of Ke versus Atty. Revilla, the case of Tan versus Diamante, the case of Poster, and the case of Yupanco, Napkil, and Atty. Poster. Those are the cases that it might come out in the bar examination. Okay. Always ask in the bar, what is a practice of law? In the case of Philippine Association of Court Employees, or PASE, versus Attorney Diaz, AC number 10134 November 26, 2014, the Supreme Court ruled only a privilege. So a practice of law is only a privilege. In order to enjoy the privilege, the lawyer must show that he possess and continue to possess the qualification required by law for the conferment of such privilege. So, in order that you must show that you possess that privilege, the qualification that you will be allowed to practice law. Retainers lien. Are lawyers allowed to have a retainers lien? In the case of spouses, San Pedro versus Attorney Mendoza, AC number 5440, December 10, 2014. The Supreme Court ruled a lawyer cannot arbitrarily apply the funds in his position for the payment of his fees when the client dispute the amount claimed. So, as a lawyer, you cannot just arbitrarily apply the funds in your position for the payment of your client. For instance, your client failed to pay you your appearance fee, failed to pay you your acceptance fee, appearance fee, then you are not allowed to deduct it from the funds, because you must ask the client that you will be allowed. No? Okay. How about substitution of lawyers? In what way lawyers can be substituted? In the case of San Pedro spouses and Choc Metropolitan Bank and Trust Company versus Choc, GR number 172652, substitution of counsel. No substitution of counsel of record is allowed unless the following essential requisites of a valid substitution of counsel must occur. So remember, future compañeros and compañeras, although there are judges, there are lawyers and prosecutors who are also listening and watching the lectures, that the following must be present in order that there will be a valid substitution of lawyers. Number one, there must be a written request. So there must be a written, hindi verbal, no? There must be a written request for substitution. It must be filed with the written consent of the client, no? So number one, there must be a written request for substitution. Then there must be a written consent of the client, hindi lang verbal. Then the third one, it must be with the written consent of the attorney to be substituted. So the lawyer to be substituted must also consent. Mabigay din siya ng consent na papalitan siya sa new lawyer. And the last one, in case the consent of the attorney to be substituted cannot be obtained, there must be at least a proof of notice that the motion for substitution was served on him in the manner prescribed by the rules of court. No? So, we need to say that in order that there will be a valid substitution of lawyer, there must first a written request for substitution. Second, it must be filed with the written consent of the client. Third, it must be with the written consent of the attorney to be substituted. Kailangan may written consent yung abogado na papalitan. And the last one, in case the lawyer to be substituted, you cannot get the consent, then you must prove to the court that you give a notice that there is a motion for substitution of the lawyer as prescribed in the manner by the rules of court. That is the case of Metropolitan Bank and Trust Company versus Choc. GR number 172652. Okay. How about this gross ignorance? No? I will no longer discussing judges. No? Okay. The case of Anodon versus Attorney Sepra. Duty to promote respect for legal processes observed and maintained due to the court. Violated when the lawyer contumaciously disobeyed and delayed the compliance of the court. So in this case, the lawyer did not obey the legal processes of the court. And that, according to the same court, the lawyer must maintain respect due to the court. It violated when the lawyer contumaciously disobeyed and delayed the compliance of the court. So in this case, the lawyer was suspended by the Supreme Court. Another one. Every lawyer is required to serve his client with utmost dedication, competence, and diligence, and he must not neglect a legal matter entrusted to him, and his negligence is regarded the same administratively liable. So that is the case of Davao Import Distributor Inc. versus Attorney Ladero. Then, filing of a false general information sheet with the Securities and Exchange Commission. So, the lawyer filed a false or falsified general information sheet before the Securities and Exchange Commission. Is the lawyer liable? The answer is yes. The Supreme Court ruled in the case of Guarin versus Limpin, issue number 10576. Filing a false general information sheet with the Securities and Exchange Commission constitute a violation of Canon 1, Rule Point 1 of the Code of Professional Responsibilities. Then in the case of Attorney Villamor versus Attorney Santos, AC number 9668. In the absence of proof, the presumption of innocence of lawyer remains and the complaint against him must be dismissed. So in this case, the lawyer was charged administratively, but the Supreme Court did not suspend the lawyer because the presumption of innocence remained and that the complainant failed to adduce evidence, so it was dismissed. Then, in another case, in the case of Donato versus Padulion, the penalty of suspension for the practice of law for 2 years for violation of Canon 17, Rule 18.1 and 18.4, the Code of Professional Responsibility. So in this case, the lawyer was suspended by the Supreme Court for 2 years. As I've said, there is no really hard and fast rule what will be the penalty to be imposed by the Supreme Court. Future compañeros and compañeras, I cannot hold you longer because I'm not feeling well. No, I will just recapitulate. I will just summarize my lecture. Although I still have 19 minutes now. So remember, if you are a government lawyer, you practice your profession. You are not allowed to practice your profession until and unless you secure a written authority from the head office. No? Before you can practice, because you can be suspended by the Supreme Court if you practice your profession without first securing the authority coming from the head office. Another one, if you become a notary public, don't allow that you will sign and affix the notarial seal without the presence of the parties, because you can be suspended. Not only that, you will be barred forever as a notary public. Next, that the practice of law is not a matter of right. The practice of law is a mere privilege. That the practice of law is not business. That the practice of law, the primary purpose is public service. That money is not the ultimate purpose of the practice of law. That in amicus curiae, yes, lawyers are allowed to become an amicus curiae or amici curiae. So, like in the case of Forest Hill, no, wherein the judge who handled the case could not decide what is the meaning of grandfather rule in corporation. So, the judge asked the corporate lawyers to be the amicus curiae. In amicus curiae, it is either by leave of court or the court will appoint you. Then, because of the expertise of the lawyers, then the lawyers as amicus curiae or amici curiae can help judges as to decide. Even the Supreme Court in Anti-Terrorism Act, the invited amicus curiae to discuss whether or not Anti-Terrorism Act is constitutional. In my case, I allowed amicus curiae to discuss about the OL derogatory law. Before I will decide the case on OL derogatory law, I must first hear the expert opinion of the amicus curiae. Next, that the negligence of the lawyer binds the client, except it is gross negligence or palpable negligence. But as a general rule, negligence of a lawyer binds the client, except it is palpable or a gross negligence. Another case decided by the Supreme Court. If the lawyer gives an erroneous advice, for instance, it should be an annulment of marriage. Sabi niya, i-file natin ay legal separation. If the lawyer committed an erroneous advice, is the lawyer liable? The answer is no. As a general rule, the lawyer is not liable if the lawyer gave an erroneous advice, except there is malice or there is gross, palpable error. So, for instance, there are so many lawyers wherein my friends asked the lawyers, then they went to my house and asked whether or not the best remedy is this. I said no. The best remedy is this. Then he said, gago pala yung abogado niyan. 5 abogado pinunta ko, judge. Mali. You know, I do not want really to give legal advice to my neighbors, to my compadre, to my friends, because they already asked legal advice from their family friends, lawyers. Sabi nila, gago pala yung abogado na yan, no? Can you imagine that? Sasabihin, gago ka pala. Mali yung binigay mong advice, no? As a general rule, erroneous advice, the lawyer is not liable except it is gross. Okay, hindi ko na kaya. Malat na ako. Thank you, future abogados and abogadas. I really wanted to lecture more. We have 10 minutes more, but I could not anymore. I could not anymore lecture. No? Although we have 10 minutes more, that I will lecture. No? Remember, no? Practice of law is not a matter of right. Practice of law is mere privilege. Practice of law is that the practice of law, the primary purpose is public service. Money is not the purpose of practice of law, but public service. That the practice of law, it must be, you must see to it that it is not business. Pero huwag kayong maniwala. Practice of law is really a business, no? Can you imagine if you practice your law, di ka maningil, gutom abutin mo. So for me, it's still a practice of law. But if it will be asked in the bar examination in legal ethics, that will be your answer. Okay, thank you. I'm not feeling well. Talagang pinilit ko lang, no? Mayroon pa akong 10 minutes, no? But I could no longer finish it. Thank you, future compañeros and compañeras. Although there are judges, nakita ko si Judge Olivete, there are prosecutors, there are lawyers, there are law professors who also attended my lecture on legal ethics. No? So if I have time, I will lecture other topic. No? So in this case, I was able to lecture at least 5 bar review. One is political law, second is international law, third is commercial law, fourth is remedial law, and now is legal ethics. Now, I will lecture only subjects in the bar examination. I do not want to lecture subjects that are not asked in the bar examination. Sayang na oras niyo kung mag-lecture ako ng mga ano-ano dyan na hindi siya kasama sa bar examination. So I will only lecture that are subject in the bar examination. Sayang lang kung mag-lecture ako ng mga kung ano-ano dyan. So, good luck, future compañeros and compañeras. FB asked me to delete. They will delete my 4 lectures. That is why my class Bidel created a YouTube channel. So, if you want to, because I believe it will be erased soon. Baka this week. Kinulit ako ng FB. They will erase, I think, the first 3 muna. They will erase my political law bar review, international law, and commercial law. Ang matitira na lang ay the law on remedial law, also legal ethics. No? That is why I created my class Bidels created a YouTube channel on me. So you can watch that YouTube channel if it will be erased by the FB management. Kasi kinukulit na ako. Gusto nila iburahin yung aking 4 na lecture, 3. Sabi ko, wag muna. So, but now, I think it can be erased because there is now a YouTube channel. Thank you. Good luck, future compañeros and compañeras, abogados and abogadas, although they are judges, prosecutors, and law professors, also watching and listening to my lecture. Maraming salamat po. Pasensya na kayo. May sakit po ako. Kagabi, I was not able to sleep. No? I really tried to sleep this afternoon, but I could not sleep, no? Especially there are so many COVIDs now, nakakatakot. Okay, God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you. Mabuhay.
Yan ang viewers.
Ha?
Yan ang viewers.
Yung si Kalawin ko dyan, ilagyan ng mga
Dalan po.
Bakit paano?
Hindi.
Almost natapos naman.